Alright guys, here is my first warm-up set. So this is actually a fairly new movement for me. Bent over rows necessarily aren't, but using a supinated grip with an easy bar is. I typically don't like pulling from this position because at this particular position I definitely feel like my spinal erectors and the paraspinal muscles of my low back are much more engaged than my actual lats. So for this reason I decided to opt and throw on my belt. So the working weight for this first exercise is 140 pounds. So surprisingly I felt it a lot in my lats. Jared sent me some clips for some technique for these particular exercises, and just utilizing those little cues and everything else definitely helped me feel it in my lats a lot more. Definitely felt it in my mid-back, posterior delts, and also in my biceps. So some people complain about feeling it in their biceps too much for back exercises. I'm definitely not going to complain about something like that. Alright, now this is going to be my down set. So usually I'll start off with a heavier weight, work up for 3 sets, and then now I'm using less weight. So I took off about, we'll say about, I think it was about 10 pounds that I took off. So 20 total. So yeah, so this is roughly around 125. So yeah, definitely feel it in my lats. Great exercise. My first pull day for this new mesocycle, we focus primarily on horizontal pulling. So last mesocycle, it was predominantly pen lay rows, and now we're doing easy bar rows. So moving on to my next exercise, we got dumbbell curls. So this is not the technique that he outlined, but my friend, he sent me a little clip showing why it's not good to do the single arm rows with your knee up on the bench. Can cause a little bit of a hernia type issue, can strain the inguinal ligament. So I basically, my friend, I respect him a lot, and any feedback that I can get to make my technique better and safer, I'll definitely do. I decided to go ahead and keep my weight belt on for this. I don't really feel it in my lower back when I do this exercise, but I am deadlifting in a couple days, and I squatted yesterday and did good morning, so my lower back was a little sore. So I just kind of wanted to save my lower back, not really load that trunk as much. So yeah, definitely liking these exercises. The variation is there because if you watched my last mesocycle, the dumbbell was from a dead stop. I was in a half kneeling position and it was pulled from the floor. Moving on to supinated pull downs, or palms facing me pull downs. So like I said, last mesocycle, the preferred grip was either neutral or pronated, and wide and mid. So now we're using more of a close supinated grip. So you're still working the lats, but you're also hitting a lot more muscles as well. And it's a great way to kind of introduce more variation into your program so you can continually keep making progress. At this point, I was pretty much feeling a lot of it in my biceps because my lats were pretty tired, but my biceps could definitely soldier on. So those are kind of things you want to pay attention to when you're performing these cycles. And I am finishing off with 2 sets of dumbbell curls. So due to the heavy pressing and pulling nature of my program, there isn't a lot of direct arm work in there. So usually when they are, it's usually 2 to 3 sets of any particular exercise. So here I am with the dumbbell curls, trying to minimize any type of torso movement, trying to focus on my posture and everything else, and just really squeezing those dumbbells, getting full range of motion, slight flexion at the shoulder, and coming all the way down into full extension. Hope you guys liked the video. Hit subscribe and follow me all the way to the all natural Olympia, which will